Well, good evening, everybody. What a job, what a job. All my plants are outside finally. I think there might be a couple of house plants left inside, but everybody's outside, and look at this. My shade house is empty. My little rolling shade house is empty. It served its purpose, and it worked great for keeping all the orchids in, but with the new canopy and the 60% shade cloth, wow. It just really is much easier this way. And I've got room to spare. Those shelves on the bottom are not even full, so plenty of room. Lots of places to hang the plants, and they all seem like they're doing great. I promise I'll come out and show them all more in detail. I promise I will, I promise. I just got everybody moved out. The big Sansevierias are out. The staghorn is out. There's another big Sansevieria back there as well. There's also, let me move you slowly here. There's one over by the door. The bird of paradise is sitting right here. A bunch of the phals are over here. I'm not real steady tonight, so I'm going to do my best to keep you guys still. But look at the blooms on these guys still. They've been blooming since, what, November last year? And still going. I've lost a few spikes, I've lost a couple of leaves, but for the most part, these guys are hanging in there and doing great. And now they're all starting lots of new growth, new leaves, new roots coming out, and I'm getting ready for the new growing season. But a few of the house plants are out, but that's pretty much it. So if I'm not going to use that, I'm probably going to get rid of it. I guess disassemble it or something, but I've got plenty of space over here, and this just works so much better. I just came out and did something I've been wanting to do since last October when I brought these plants inside, and that is give them a bath. So everybody just had a heavy meal, they had a good soaking bath, and now they're going to be going to bed. They have not been rained on since they came inside, so now they've been soaked and soaked and soaked. I got my sprayer out and soaked them and soaked them. I soaked them with several gallons of CalMag. I took rainwater and mixed it with CalMag, about 75 to 80 parts per million of CalMag, 25-30 parts per million of Epsom salts or magnesium sulfate, and about 25 or 30 parts per million of kelpin seaweed. The CalMag is perfect for this application, for making sure that I have calcium around all the plants, especially on the mounts. On the pots, I'm still sprinkling the lime and everything, and it's easier to give them the calcium that way. And I'm using calcium nitrate in my mix too, but when you want to apply like to the mounts and stuff, that CalMag works great for spraying those mounts or for soaking those mounts. You don't want to use calcium nitrate separate. You don't want to feed it separate and spray your plants with calcium nitrate. That's part of a nutrient mix. But CalMag works perfect for that. And what it's doing is it's ensuring that I have plenty of calcium around everything. I'm spraying the entire plant, all the plant, the leaves, the roots, the bulbs, the canes, the pot, the media, everything. Make sure there's calcium sprayed on everything. So anytime it rains, it moves that calcium around and keeps giving calcium, or it keeps making sure there's calcium around for the plant to be able to absorb. It's going to ensure that I don't lose any new shoots, new bulbs, new canes coming out, new leaves coming out. It ensures with all the rain that they're going to get that I don't have any crown rot issues or anything like that. Calcium. There's only about 1% magnesium in it, so the CalMag is mainly for the calcium. The magnesium sulfate, I'm using that for the magnesium now, or the Epsom salts. But it's so much warmer outside. These plants are producing so much more chlorophyll. They're photosynthesizing so much more right now. There's so much more activity in the leaves, so that extra magnesium is going to make that situation and make them be able to utilize that and do that job more efficiently and better. It's going to enrichen all the color up, and they're going to really like it outside, up underneath the sun. It's going to really help them. I'm trying to make sure that the reserves are all built up and ready to go for the new bloom season. Remember, you're always growing for down the road. You're always growing for the blooms coming down the road. The other thing I added was the kelpin seaweed, that also important kelpin seaweed. And I get a lot of people say, Rick, orchids don't get exposed to kelpin seaweed in the wild hanging on trees. You say mimic Mother Nature, why are we using kelpin seaweed on them? Kelpin seaweed it's not so much for the potassium, there's only about 1% potassium in that. That little 1% is a tiny little bit of potassium, and that's about the best way to give potassium or phosphorus to your plants. Most orchids don't have that ability to self-regulate P and K like they do with calcium and nitrogen. Because P and K isn't available in their environments very often, and when it is, it's only in tiny, tiny amounts. They've never really developed the ability to have to regulate it. So whenever it is available, they hoard it, and they suck up vast amounts of it, so you have to be cautious by giving them too much. That's why that little bit of tiny bit of potassium that's in that kelp and seaweed, that little bit of K in there, is just a perfect little amount to help supplement. But the main reason I use the kelp and seaweed is for the hormones. Some of those growth hormones in those plants, in the varieties of kelp and seaweed, some of those plants can grow several feet in a day. Hormones are important because hormones are what tell the plant to bloom or to grow. And when they tell it to grow, they tell it either to grow shoots or to grow roots or to grow new canes or new leaves, etc., or to grow multiples. It's also responsible for cell elongation and cell multiplication. Hormones tell a plant what to do. Your plants will stall and not grow accordingly, or not grow properly, and they will grow slow without proper hormones around them. Outside, in a tree, or hanging underneath trees, or hanging on trees, they would be exposed to hormones being dripped on them all the time, along with all the other nutrients. In our enclosed environments, and even though I'm outside, I don't have a tree over me, so there's no hormones being dripped on them, just rainwater. There's a little bit of stuff being blown around in the atmosphere air, but not enough. So you have to make sure you supplement stuff like that. So that's why the kelp and seaweed is so important. It's full of hormones. Those cytokines and gibberellins, auxins, they make such a difference with the plants. It makes them grow more natural. It makes them grow like jungle plants to me. Multiple shoots, multiple spikes, multiple leaves, multiple growths, much better root growth, etc., etc. So that's why I use the kelp and seaweed for those also important hormones. And that foliar feed also washed all these plants off. It washed all the dust off the plants, and next time they get a good rain, it's really going to wash them off. But this is their first time getting a good bath since last fall, so it helped wash all the leaves off, open up their stomata on the leaves, helped hydrate them a little bit more, and also gave them a good dose of calcium all around them, some magnesium, and some hormones. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. Jan's doing wonderful. She's just being a nurse and healing and getting her strength back. And couldn't be more proud of her. My mom, thank you for all the kind comments. My mom, by the way, is doing wonderful. She had her hip repaired, had partial replacement on her hip, and she's doing great. She's home again. She's mobile. She's just dealing with surgical pain and her physical therapy. But she's doing great. She's a super strong lady, and it's where I get my strength from. She really does. Really does. It's where I get my strength from. Incredible lady. Anyway, thank you for all those wonderful comments and all the prayers. I relayed them to her, and she was extremely thankful for them. Thank you again. I'm going to sit back and enjoy my evening and relax, and maybe look over some of my plants a little bit. The growth on them is just tremendous. The canes, the size of the new canes and the new bulbs is just astonishing. It's Oncidium, Wildcat, Golden Red Star, big beautiful spike on it. BLC Windward Flare, that's one we need to repot. It's way out, it's outgrown that pot. Rhinaantheras, mounts, lots to talk about still. I've still got a few videos I think left in me. I've still got a few talks I think left in me. I would like to do a video on Phalaenopsis. I think it's one of the most misunderstood orchids, and I think a lot of people grow them incorrectly. This is one of my favorite little orchids. This is Dendrobium Bruce Gordon, but I love the tapered ends on those canes. That fat center on them. I love the way they're shaped, the way it grows. Has a nice tight growth habit. Beautiful caramel colored roots. Beautiful. That's a lovely new cane coming out the side right there too. All the plants have big new growths. Look at the big new shoots and canes coming out on these guys. Cattleya Lulu. Those beautiful little pinky toes. Big new shoots coming out. Big new canes. Look at these big new shoots. Love this, love this, love this. Everybody's sucking up that moisture. That's Banfieldera Mystic Maze Gilded Tower still blooming. Loving the warm sunshine outside. It's got some big, beautiful new shoots coming out on the bottom down here. Beautiful. Anyway, lots and lots to look at, lots to talk about. I'd like to talk about intermedias growing in river rock, lava rock, pea gravel, that type of stuff, growing, bare rooted type style. I've been growing in it for 2.5 years now, and I've learned a lot in it. Also, I'd like to talk about mounts and a few other things like that. But there's still lots of nutrition things that we need to talk about, and I never get tired of those questions. I never get tired of the questions. So keep them coming, keep them coming. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy my evening. I hope you guys will do the same. I wanted to give a quick hello and show you what I've been up to, and I'm doing great. Everybody asks me, Rick, how are you doing? Well, I'm doing great. My plants are outside, so that should tell you something. Mother Nature is going to give me a break over the next couple of months and give me a hand. So all I have to do is mix up nutrients and come out and spray, and I'll be showing that here over the next few days. So enjoy your evening. I'm going to enjoy mine. Thank you for all the kind words, the thoughts, the prayers, the messages, all the good karma. Thank you so much for all of it, guys. I really do appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening, and thanks for watching and thanks for listening.